Welcome to a how-to on numbers on banners. Today I'll be showing you how to put all these numbers onto banners. If you want to jump to a specific number, please look in the description and find the timestamp for it. This is an easy, simple, step-by-step how-to on numbers on banners. Thanks for choosing it. To make a zero, you're going to need one banner. You'll need 12 die of the colour you want your zero to be. And if you're making this version of the zero, you will need 8 of the colour of the banner to do the edge, and a crafting bench. And into the crafting bench, you put your banner in the middle square on the bottom row, and then in the top row across, you put 3 die. That will give you a line at the top. To make the line at the bottom, you take that out of the square and back into the middle of the crafting bench, and then you place 3 die underneath it in the bottom row, and then you've got your line at the top and your line at the bottom. Now, to create the lines at the side, you do 3 on one side. Doesn't matter which side you do first, but whatever side you do, you take it out of the square and put it back in the middle of the crafting bench, and then do the other side. And that gives you your O, which is the thick O. If you want to make it into a thinner O, you put back in the middle of the centre of the crafting bench, and then you surround it with the die of your colour banner. And that's how you get the zeros. To make number 1, you're going to need one banner. You'll need 7 die in the colour that you want your number 1 to be. And then if you're doing this version, you will need 8 die of the colour of the banner you're using. You'll also need a crafting bench. Now you put your banner in the bottom middle square, and then you put one of your die in the top left hand corner. You take that out of there, and then you put it to the middle square on the left hand side, and then you put 3 dies down in the middle, and that gives you your line. To create the line across, you take that out of the square, and then you put your remaining 3 dies at the bottom, and this will give you the thick number 1. If you want to make that into a thinner one, you put it in the middle square of your crafting bench, and you surround it all with the colour of the die of your banner, and that will give you the smaller version of number 1. To put a number 2 on your banner, you will need a crafting bench, you will need a banner, and you will need 12 die of the colour that you want your number 2 to be. You'll also need 6 die of the colour of the banner. I'm using a pink banner, so I've got pink die. If you want to do it with the border around the edge, you'll need an additional 8. So that means you'll need 14 of the colour of the banner. And into the crafting bench, you put your banner into the middle square, and then above it, across the top, you put 3 of your die. Then you put the banner back into the middle of the crafting bench, and to the right hand side, you put 3 dies in a line. And then you put this one in the top middle square, and then underneath it, you put 3, and then the last line you put 3, so you put your 6 underneath it. Then you take the banner out and you put it in the top left hand corner, and then diagonally you put 3 dies. You put one in the middle, and then one above and one below diagonally. And then to make the line at the bottom, you put it back in the middle of the crafting bench, and you put your 3 die across the bottom, and this will give you the thick number 2. If you want to make it the thinner version, you put it in the middle square of your crafting bench, and then you surround it with your die of your banner, and that will give you the thinner version, and there's the fatter version. To make the number 3, you're going to need one banner, 12 ink in the colour of the number 3 you want it to be, and if you're doing this version you will need 8 of the colour of the banner and a crafting bench. Into the crafting bench you put your banner in the middle square, and then on the right hand side down you put 3 of your die. And you put that banner in the middle of the crafting bench, and then below it across you put 3 of your die. Now you put the banner back into the crafting square on the middle square of the bottom row, and then across the middle above it you put 3 die, and then to create the line at the top you put it back into the middle square, and then you put your last 3 above it in a line, and this will give you the thick number 3. If you want to make it into the thinner version, you put it into the middle of your crafting square and surround it with 8 of the die of your banner, and that will give you number 3. To make the number 4, you will need a banner, 12 die in the colour that you want your number 4 to be, and then you'll need 3 die the colour of the banner. If you're doing this version you'll need 8 die of the colour of the banner, which means you'll need 11 in total. You'll also need a crafting bench. Into the crafting bench you put your banner in the top middle square, and then underneath it you put 3 of your die, and underneath that on the bottom line you put another 3, so you put 6 underneath it in a line. Then you put that banner back in the middle of your crafting bench, and then to the left hand side you put 3 die in a line down. You put this back into the crafting bench, and then you use the die of the colour of the banner and you put the 3 pieces underneath it in a line. Then you put that back into the crafting bench in the centre square, and then you put your last 3 die in a line on the right hand side going down, and that gives you your thick number 4. If you want to make the thinner one, you surround it all with the die of the banner, and that gives you both the thin version and there's the thicker one. To make the number 5 you're going to need a banner, 9 die in the colour that you want your number 5 to be, and if you're doing this version you will need 8 of the die of the banner. You'll also need a crafting bench. Put your banner in the middle of the crafting square, and underneath it in a line you place 3 of the die. You then put that banner you've just made into the bottom middle square, and then diagonally you put 3 dice. You put 1 above it in the middle and the 1 above that and below it diagonally. Then you place that banner back in the middle of the square, and above that on the top line you put 3 die, and this will make the thick number 5. If you want to make it thinner you put it into the middle square and you surround it with the colour of the banner, and that will create the thin version. To make the number 6 you're going to need a crafting bench, a banner, 12 die in the colour that you want your number 6 to be, and then 6 die of the banner colour. If you're doing this one you'll need an additional 8, so altogether you'll need 14. And then into the crafting bench you put your banner into the middle square, and then on the right hand side you put 3 die in a line down. You then put that banner into the middle bottom line of your crafting bench, and then above it you place the 6 die of the banner. So you do one line above and then one line on top. You then take that banner and place it into the middle of the crafting bench, and underneath it you place 3 die. Then you take that out of the crafting bench and put it in the bottom middle of your crafting bench and put 3 die across the middle of the bench. You put that then into the middle of the crafting bench, and then to the left hand side you put your remaining 3 die, and that will give you your thick number 6. If you want to make it into the thinner version, you surround it all with the die of the colour of the banner, and that will give you the thin version. To make the number 7, you're going to need a crafting bench, a banner, 6 die in the colour you want your 7 to be, 3 die in the colour of the banner, and if you're doing this version you'll need an additional 8, which will mean you will need 11. And into the crafting bench you put your banner into the middle square, and then above it you place 3 die across the line. And you put that one back into the middle of the crafting bench, and then you use 3 die of the banner colour, and you place it one to the right, one below and one diagonally on the right. Then you place that back into the crafting bench on the right hand side in the corner at the bottom, and then you use your last 3 die in a diagonal. So you put one in the middle and then one above and one below in a diagonal line, and that will give you your thick number 7. If you want to make it into a thinner one, put it into the middle of the crafting bench and surround it with your 8 die of the colour of the banner, and that will give you your thin number 7. To make the number 8, you will need a crafting bench, you will need a banner, you will need 15 die in the colour that you want your 8 to be, and if you're doing this version you will also need 8 die of the colour of the banner. And into the crafting bench you put the banner into the middle square, and then below it across you put your 3 die, so you make a line at the bottom. Then you put it back into the middle of the crafting bench and you put 3 die to the right hand side in a line going down to create the line on the right side. And you put that back into the middle of the crafting bench, and to make the line on the other side you put 3 die on the left side. Then you just need to make the line at the top and the middle. So to do the top you put it back into the middle of the crafting bench and you place 3 die above it in a line. And then to finish it off by putting the line across the middle, you put the banner back into the crafting bench in the middle square at the bottom, and with your last 3 die you put it across the middle of the crafting bench, and this will give you the thick number 8. If you want to make it into the thinner version, put it into the middle of the crafting bench and surround it with 8 die of the colour of the banner, and there you have your number 8. To make the number 9, you will need a crafting bench, a banner. You'll need 12 die in the colour that you want your number 9 to be. You'll also need 6 die of the colour of the banner, and if you're doing this one you'll need an additional 8 as well. Into the crafting bench you put your banner into the middle square, and then on the left hand side going down to make a line you put 3 of your die. You then put this in the top middle square of your crafting bench, and underneath it you put a line going across and a line after that of your 6 die of the colour of the banner. then you put that banner in the top middle square, and then underneath it in the middle of the crafting bench going across, you put 3 dies. You then put this into the middle of the crafting bench, and then you put 3 dies above it in the line going across, and then you put that back into the middle of the crafting bench, and then going down the right hand side you make a line, and this will give you the thick number 9. If you want to make it into the thinner version, you put it into the middle of the crafting bench, and then you put your 8 die of the colour of the banner all around it, and that will give you the thinner version.